everybody, this is my response to week 4 questions, and this week I will be answering a question posed by Kevin Chavez, based off chapter 15 on economic sanctions. So his question was, should large nations with large economic sway still perform sanctions that target an entire country, also affecting the citizens, or only target sanctions on individuals within the regime? So based off the readings, I would have to say that they should continue to create economic sanctions that target the individual within a regime due to the track record of that being more effective than the broad economic sanctions against an entire country. Now, even though I believe and say that, our readings do discuss how people are all different, and then they have different goals. So Gary Schiffman on page 214 describes dictators as people that base their actions on a cost-benefit analysis, and not all are alike. So in order to create effective sanctions, we need to examine each individual we seek to enact the sanctions on and determine their goals, their wealth, their institutional constraints, and time horizons when deciding actions to influence their behaviors in a way that we want them to act. So with that in mind, for some dictators, tyrants, tin pots, and timocrats, the broad economic sanctions may be effective depending on their personal ideals or goals. An example of effective constrained economic sanctions on the individuals to deal with North Korea and the U.S., where the U.S. and North Korea trade wealth for security. Also, in Chapter 15, there is Case Study 15.2 titled Counter-Terrorist Financing Post 9/11, and this is on page 218. And it basically discusses how the U.S. adopted a security strategy called the Name and Shame Program that carried the ability to freeze assets, money, and property and deny access to owners of the assets if they supported or engaged in international acts of terrorism. These restrictions were also placed on banks, and the UN also adopted policy that basically placed economic financial sanctions against those who supported terrorism or the situation arising in Iraq. So this basically demonstrates how the individual part of economic sanctions can effectively alter a person's behavior. But like I stated before, it seems to be the more effective way, or faster way. It has a better track record than the broad economic sanctions, but really just depends on the situation